So here we are back in one of my favorite places in all of Atlanta, and that's downtown Duluth. And today what we're doing is I'm going to give you some pros and cons of Duluth. Now, I know I did one of these videos about 3 years ago, but a lot has changed in 3 years. So you're definitely going to want to take a look at this video as we explore the pros and cons of living in Duluth and kind of what's changed over these last 3 years. There's some things for the good and other things you definitely want to consider if you're looking to make that move here to Atlanta and specifically to Duluth, Georgia. So the first thing we're going to start with is some stats. So let me tell you some things about Duluth, Georgia.
Duluth, Georgia is located 28 miles northeast of Atlanta. Duluth has a population of 32,000 people. The population is made up of 36.9% white, 23.8% African American, 23.1% Asian, 15.3% Hispanic or Latino, and 0.9% other. As this stat shows, Duluth is a very diverse community. 55.3% of houses are owner-occupied. The median household income is $88,915, and the median home value is $495,000.
So this is your first time on this channel and you want to know all there is to know about living, working, playing, and breathing all things Atlanta and the metro Atlanta area, like here in Duluth, Georgia, then tap that notification bell, subscribe, so you can be the first to know about everything that's going on here in Atlanta, Georgia, and in the Duluth area. My name is Jonathan McCoy, and I'm getting calls, texts, and emails from people just like you looking to make that move here to Atlanta, Georgia, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're making that move right now, a month from now, or a year from now, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to talk with you more about making that move here to Atlanta, Georgia. So we're talking pros and cons today, and one of the first pros, 100%, is this downtown area here in Duluth, Georgia. You're gonna absolutely love it. Right now I'm sitting in this green space, and we're right across from Truck and Tap and LR Burger, which LR Burger is new, and we're sitting across from the green here. In downtown Duluth, you have a lot of places to dine, eat, and enjoy down here. You've got kind of two different sections. You got Parsons Alley, that's just a little bit north of me, and then you got the downtown Main Street area, and here on the green space behind me. So you can find a ton of different options here. They got barbecue with Dreamland Barbecue. You've got a number of bars here. You got Truck and Tap, which is a bar, and then you've got Good Word Brewing as well. So definitely really made for the crowd that wants to get out, have a good time. On Fridays here, pretty much downtown Duluth during the warmer months is just packed with food trucks that come in here. You got live music and events, and they got a lot of theme nights too, such as they have like a Vegas themed night, and they have a circus themed night, and they just do different things throughout the year to make it interesting, make it enjoyable. It's definitely a place where families are invited, but I'm seeing a lot more influx of younger people as well, especially with the later nights with the bar scene here. So a lot of people that are single or maybe newlyweds, or those that have all their kids have gone, so they're empty nesters just looking out to get out on the town for a good time. So definitely a cool area to hang out here. Lots of festivals here as well. You've got art festivals that happen. You've got some farmers markets that open up and come on certain weekends throughout the year.
We're at Derby Day in downtown Duluth. Say hey, Declan. Declan's riding Jasper.
And the schedule, if you look at Duluth's schedule, they got a ton of stuff planned during the around Christmas time and Thanksgiving. I know they had like Santa out here. They had snow set up out here. They had a toboggan ride. They had inflatables out. They had a maze. They just had all kinds of really cool things. And the great thing, it was all free. So there's definitely a little bit for everybody down here. Also, just south of me is the library. So the Duluth Library is down here as well. And there's a ton of things to do at the library. A lot of classes offered that you may not think of. I actually did a video on the library that you can find right here. It'll pop up if you want to know more about like Gwinnett's libraries in Duluth and what they have to offer. With that said, here's a few more things that you can get into and involved in this downtown Duluth area.
Here are some more options for you in downtown Duluth. When it comes to dining, desserts, and more, you have 6S Brewing, Break Coffee Roasters, The Chocolatier, Crave Pie Studio, The Cream, Empanada House, Duluth Rexall Grill, Falling Rabbit, Gwen Taj Wine Bar, Local on North, Maple Street Biscuit Company, Nacho Daddy, Nuna Meat and Seafood, O4W Pizza, Pure Taqueria, Rock and Roll Sushi, Simply Done Donuts, Sweet Octopus, and Tropic Bowls Cafe.
So it's not just all about downtown Duluth, though this is a really cool place to hang out and enjoy, but there's actually a ton to do all around the Duluth area and even just outside of Duluth and nearby towns. So you want to take a look at Duluth. One thing you definitely want to consider is all that it has to offer, not just here in downtown Duluth, but also in the surrounding areas.
Starting with the east side of Duluth, you can find the Gas South District, which is home to the Gas South Arena, Gas South Convention Center, and the Gas South Theater. These venues host world tours, trade shows, the Atlanta Gladiators ice hockey, Georgia Swarm Professional lacrosse, also host plays, ballets, and more. Staying on this east side of Duluth, you can also find the Atlanta Ice Forum. Yes, believe it or not, Atlanta, and specifically Duluth, Georgia, has an indoor ice rink that hosts ice hockey leagues for kids and adults, figure skating, open skate times, camps, and more. If golf is your sport, then you have a public course option and a private course option. Your public course is St. Marlo's Country Club, and for a private course, which has hosted multiple PGA Tour events, you have TPC at Sugarloaf. If you want to go out to the movies, there is a Studio Movie Grill in Duluth. And lastly, near the downtown Duluth area, you can visit the Southeast Train Museum. This is a fun place where kids and adults alike can walk around and in through restored trains, even play in train engines, and learn all about trains, as well as even go on a ride on a train.
Now, to go along with things to do in Duluth, Georgia is pro number 3, and that's the parks. Got a little park here behind me in the downtown Duluth, Georgia area, but there are a lot of parks around Duluth, and there's a little something for everybody when it comes to these parks if you like to be outdoors. You got plenty of playground areas, you got dog parks, you got places to put in on the Chattahoochee River if you like to fish or kayak or canoe or just get in the water on hot Georgia days. You got walking trails around some really cool places. There's a McDaniels Farms Park in Duluth, Georgia, that is an old farmstead that they've now preserved, and it's just got a lot of hiking trails, both paved and unpaved trails. So you can kind of feel like you're out and about in the North Georgia mountains, but being right here in downtown Duluth. And then this is kind of fun. You got this little thing right here that's called the Giggle Bark tree that they're working on right now. It's an added on to the playground area over here. It's going to be this interactive tree that you can swing on and have swings in and go in and out of compartments. It's going to be lit up. So they're working on that right now. But again, Duluth is just looking to improve all the time, and the parks are one of those places.
Here's some fun parks that you can enjoy in Duluth. You got Button Road Park. This is a 45-acre park that has baseball and softball fields, soccer fields, tennis courts, a 3,600 square foot playground, walking and biking trails, and a recreation center that has an indoor gym, office spaces, meeting spaces, and aerobic rooms. The Chattahoochee Dog Park is adjacent to Rogers Bridge Park, and here you will find both large and small dog parks. This area has gone through significant and major renovations, and Rogers Bridge Park is finishing up still on a new playground area. In addition, this last year, the pedestrian footbridge was completed, which connects Rogers Bridge Park to Johns Creek's Collie Creek Park. A few other parks are Church Street Park, Scott Hudgens, Taylor, and W.P. Jones Park. Shorty Howe Park is another large park in Duluth with baseball and softball fields, as well as pavilions, playgrounds, and a lake. And lastly, we would be remiss if we didn't mention McDaniels Farms Park. This is personally one of my family's favorite parks and has some great walking trails, also has some dog parks, a playground, and you can also explore the old farmstead that's here.
Pro number 4 for Duluth, Georgia is definitely the improvements Duluth is very proactive in what they're doing with the city council and just here in the area. And they're constantly doing things to improve the area. Whether it's this downtown Duluth area that they just keep building on, to outside of this downtown area, they just have a very forward-thinking city council, and it's great. They're constantly doing improvements in and around the area. This next pro of Duluth, again, downtown Duluth has a lot of dining, a little bit of shopping options, but around Duluth, you have plenty of options to choose from. You got your Walmarts, your Targets, you got plenty of grocery stores, a lot of different areas up and down Pleasant Hill, and so you've got plenty of options to choose from. But there is one drawback, and that's you don't find a lot of high-end shopping in just one area. Like in Alpharetta, for instance, you have Avalon, where you have a ton of shops. People can spend all day there shopping for whatever they need. Just outside of Duluth, Georgia, in Lawrenceville, you got Sugarloaf Mills, or in Buford, you have Mall of Georgia. So there's some bigger places to shop, and it's close by to here, but if you're looking for it right here in Duluth, there's not a lot of bulk shopping that's like all together in one place where you can just go store to store to store. And matter of fact, it kind of leads to negative or con number 2, and that is the old mall that used to have here, Gwinnett Mall, which is not really active anymore. You got a few shops on the outside, but for years they've been trying to figure out what to do with it. They even have talked about doing an international center there, but that's been talked about for years and still nothing's really going on with it. So definitely a con, definitely kind of an eyesore here in Gwinnett. It's a big area that they really need to use for something fun, but they just haven't gotten around to finalizing anything yet. Something gets in the works and then all of a sudden it just falls through. So a con is Gwinnett Mall area. All right, I said a lot has changed in the last 3 years. And one con for Duluth, Georgia area, and definitely a big change, is this used to be so affordable. Now, I know affordability for homes has gone down everywhere. It's really hard to afford a home, but in Duluth, Georgia, it's really accelerated a lot. So you used to actually be able to afford, even for first-time home buyers, a home really close to this downtown area that you could get into, nice home, good to go. But now it's become more unaffordable. So here's a few stats of what's going on here in Duluth, Georgia when it comes to affordability and what's been happening with that.
So we know affordability has been a problem throughout the U.S., but especially in Atlanta, Georgia, and specifically in Duluth, Georgia. If we look back 5 years, the median sales price for a home in Duluth, Georgia was $280,000. Today, we're looking at a median sales price of $495,000. For Georgia, over 5 years, we've had a 58% increase. But if we look here in Duluth, it has gone up 77% over those 5 years. So the amount of money it costs to purchase a home in Duluth, Georgia has increased tremendously over these last 5 years, which has caused affordability to go down. So that's definitely a negative here for Duluth, Georgia.
Con number 4 for Duluth, Georgia is, I told you, a lot of things have been happening around here. And one of those things is, and it's happened in a lot of areas, are the number of apartments in Duluth, Georgia. Now, this could be a pro or a con depending on who you are and what you're wanting. But a lot of home buyers don't necessarily want to live right next to apartments, and they've put a ton up here. The other thing is that when you have a lot of apartments, you got higher density population, which makes for worse traffic. And for those of you who know anything about Atlanta, traffic is not our friend here. We have terrible traffic. And so in this Duluth area, in the downtown area, they've also put up some brand new apartments, and a lot of them. So one of the cons is definitely the number of apartments that have been popping up in and around, for mostly just how dense it's become and how crowded it has become in the area. Another pro-con, again, it kind of depends on where you're at. I know there are plenty of people that contact me and say, hey, I want to purchase a home. Where's a good place for families? Or, hey, I want to purchase a home. Where's a good place for singles? Or, you know, we're retired, so where's a good place for people that are retired to live at? So there's people have, you know, different desires for areas they live in. And so one thing to know about the Duluth area is, I think a number of years ago, it used to be much more, I'll say family friendly, but just say more families that you see out and about, and less singles, just what it was here. But with the number of apartments that have gone in and the the bars and more nightlife that's coming here in Duluth. Definitely seen a transition from the family, we'll just say friendliness, to more of a, like I said, singles friendliness or newlyweds friendliness, people that don't have young kids maybe friendliness. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely things to do for families here in Duluth, Georgia. As I mentioned, you got the parks right here in downtown Duluth. And all around Duluth, you got plenty of parks. You have the different festivals and fairs they put on that have plenty of things for kids to do. And the maze they put up and the different activities. They've got a back-to-school bubble fest they do every year. So plenty of kid things to do. But I know when I've come here on some of the Food Truck Friday nights, you see a lot more people without kids, some of the movies on the green. There's a lot more singles, a lot more empty nesters, newlyweds. You see just kind of all of that here, and it's been something that I've just noticed. Again, it's not a pro or a con necessarily overall, it's just something to be aware of, and a change has definitely happened, especially over these last 3 years since I did my last video. So just be aware of that when you're making your decision to move here. Now again, I have a family, got young kids and a wife, and we still love coming and hanging out here. But the change has happened, so I want to make sure you're aware of that change. Now, and I know no matter where you live, there's going to be good and bad to everywhere. So, weigh these pros and cons, see what it means for you, and if you have a family, your family, and then make that decision here. I'm hoping that this was an informative video. If you like this video, you may want to check out one of these videos right here, and I post videos weekly. So take a look. Again, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, my contact information is down below. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.